Good evening.
Good evening, madam.
Yeah, good evening. So after some time we are meeting today. We are having lectures today and tomorrow. Today we will be completing the final lesson, and tomorrow we will be discussing the questions and a kind of a revision. Okay.
Okay, madam.
Can you, Sumeya, you had asked me the previous slides once I shared it, but anyway, don't worry. Today, after the lecture, the previous slides and today's slides both I will be sharing. Then you will get it.
Okay, madam.
Okay. So then, can you remember the last lesson we did? The last lesson it was
Application of linguistics, madam.
it is today's one. Yeah, the last lesson it was language and under language and society. We did, yeah, this one. See whether you can remember them. How social norms guide conversational Can you remember we did this? Or we could not do it? I don't know.
We did, madam.
Sorry? Did you do this? Just
no.
check.
Wait, madam. I will check, madam.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, madam. We did, madam.
You did. Hari, okay. Hari, okay, fine. So today, the last one. Yeah, that is application of linguistics. Okay. So up to now, we were talking about different aspects of linguistics. So today we are coming to the end of the topics actually. Application of linguistics. What do you mean by application? Application, it is a noun actually. It should be application. Applications even okay. So it's a noun. I'll put it in singular form, then it's better. Application of linguistics. Application means applying. Okay, so now we are going to check how linguistic is applied in different fields. Okay, just read.
Okay, madam.
Okay. Application of linguistics refers to the practical use of linguistic knowledge in various fields and industries. Okay. So linguistic, that is the study of languages. And then these languages are used in various fields and industries. It involves applying the principles and theories of linguistics to solve real world problems and improve human communication. Okay, so what we learn as theory is practically used in different fields. In essence, it's about taking the study of language beyond the academic realm and using it to address specific needs or challenges. Okay, so this is different from how we learn language inside the classroom. So we learn about language academically. We learn about phonetics, phonology, morphology, syntax, semantic, pragmatics, all these things inside the classroom in an academic setting. But application of linguistics, it refers to how what we learn is used practically. Is that clear? Okay. So for example, linguist might work on. Okay, so then these are certain fields: natural language processing, language education, legal linguistics, business communication, cultural studies. I have written it twice. Cultural studies, even business communication twice. Okay. Okay. So these are selected areas only. Other than this, there are many other areas where we use linguistics practically.
Okay, madam.
And in short, applications of linguistic bridge the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical application. Okay, so then most of the time the problem is theory is at one place, the practice is at the other end. These two will not meet. But under this, the application of linguistics, we are practically using theoretical knowledge, making significant impact on various aspects of society. Okay, unlike other theories, this use of linguistics is mandatory because we need the language to communicate. Okay, so first we will get to know how linguistics is applied in the field of natural language processing. Okay, first get to know what is this natural language processing. Read it.
Okay, madam.
Yeah, okay. Natural language processing Simply we call NLP is a field of artificial intelligence. Okay, AI. Artificial intelligence is something very common nowadays. People talk about it a lot. Okay, so natural language processing is also a field related to artificial intelligence that focuses on developing computer systems capable of understanding and processing human language. Okay, so the computer is a device, and then now we can see in computer systems we can see certain uh, devices or certain software which are capable of understanding and processing human language. These systems can analyze, understand, and generate human language. Okay, just like a human being, when we ask a question, they will answer, enabling computers to interact with human in a more natural and intuitive way. Okay, so then computer is interacting with human beings in a natural way, and we feel we are interacting with another human being. ChatGPT for an example. So when you ask a question, it will give us an answer. If it does not have an answer, very politely, it will say, sorry, I do not have data. Okay. Key components of NLP, natural language processing, text mining. So what is the normal meaning of mining? Do you have any idea about the term mining? Yes.
Minimize.
Sorry?
Minimized, madam.
Is it minimize?
Searching, ma'am, searching.
Searching. Yes, very good. Searching. So then extracting information from unstructured text data. Okay, mining means, so the mines are there. So when we want to get gems, even gold, so there are mines. Okay, we have to get it. We have to search it and find it. Okay, so this under natural language processing, text mining is there. Extracting information from unstructured text data such as document, email, or social media post. Okay, so NLP will supply you data, extracting them from these media, documents, email, or social media post. I will read further. So this is not a theoretical lesson. This is a very practical lesson. No? Machine translation, informational retrieval, sentiment analysis. I don't know how far you are familiar with them.
Okay, madam.
And machine translation is actually you are familiar with it. Okay, so Google translation. So yeah, when we open a Google sheet under our Google device, or how do we call it that? So then we can open a Google sheet. So then there we can translate any language into any other language. So then we can go to Google Drive actually, and then we can open a Google sheet, and then there are many languages. We have to select the language, and so we can translate it. And then not only Google Drive, even on Google, we can do that. Machine translation. Translating text from one language to another using a computer. That is machine translation. Then informational retrieval, finding relevant information from large data set of text. Okay? The search option is there. So maybe it's a large data set, but still when we type certain word, all the places where that word is, we can see very easily. And then sentiment analysis, determining the sentiment expressed in text, such as positive, negative, or neutral. Okay, so there was a time we thought that computer is unable to respond to sentimental things. But now, computer software, certain things can do that also. Okay, so then it's marvelous actually, we can't imagine. And then, you know, in foreign countries, even in India, there are AI news readers. And they are exactly like human beings. Okay, so as a whole, natural language processing, are we still with that? Yeah, is the use of language through computer. Okay, as a whole. I read this also.
Okay, madam.
Okay. Question answering questions posed in natural language. So we discussed this earlier also simply. So when we forward a question, we can get an answer. Okay, so then just like in the past, we need not to memorize the things. Okay, so if you want to know what is the capital city of Argentina, sorry, what is the capital city of Argentina or any other country, you can Google it. And when you pose the question, answer you will get. And then text summarization, summarizing large amounts of text into shorter, more concise summaries. Okay, so that is also possible. Chatbots and virtual assistants, creating computer programs that can interact with humans in a conversational manner. Okay, so then actually sometimes we feel there is another person at the other end, because we get answers very instantly, but actually no one is there. That is something generated technologically. Okay, so then some online pages, some just like when we inquire certain things from telephone companies, automatically we receive information. I am sure you know these things. Are these things familiar to you? Not all, some of them.
Yes, madam.
Yes, okay. Application of natural language processing. Let's read.
Okay, madam.
Okay. Application of natural language processing. Search engines. Improving search engine results by understanding the intent behind search queries. Okay, that is also something like ChatGPT. Search engine, when we want to search something, even Google, normal google.com. So when we search something, we will get the answer, relevant answer. Then customer service, providing automated customer support through chatbots and virtual assistant. Yes, we are familiar with that. Then language translation, developing more accurate and fluent machine translation systems. Okay, so then this is not a manual translation, manual in the sense human beings are not translating. So even in parliament, if they want, they can listen to the speech in any language. Okay, these things are also there.
Okay, madam.
Sorry, okay. Medical research, analyzing medical literature to extract information and identify trends. Okay, so there are lots of medical research done. So at all these places, linguistic play a major role. So when they find something and they have to present it in an official way, they have to state it using a language. Then social media analysis, understanding public sentiment and trends on social media platform. Then legal research, analyzing legal document and case law. So at all these places, language play a major role.
Okay, madam.
Yes. In conclusion, NLP is a rapidly evolving field with numerous applications across various industries. Okay, as NLP system continues to improve, they will play an increasingly important role in our daily lives. Okay, so we can't be without this natural language processing. Somewhere in our life daily we encounter it. Okay, so then earlier we saw these things only in literary creations. For an example, something which we saw when we were small, so we see them in reality. Okay, so earlier it was only fictional, but fictional things are becoming realities nowadays. Okay, so then by just switching on a button, we can get to know many more things. Okay, so then one of the field where linguistic is practically applied is natural language processing. Okay, so here how it is applied, you can see. So when we get answers for our inquiries, and when we responses for our responding. All these things are related to linguistic. The sentences are there, they are grammatically correct, spellings are correct, and then if it is a statement, it's correct. Okay, so without linguistic, NLP cannot run. So that is the basic idea. Is it clear to you all?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Now we'll go to another field. Language education. Sorry.
Okay, madam.
Oh. Language education, designing effective materials and methods. Language education is a multifaceted field that involves designing and implementing effective materials and methods to teach languages to learners of all ages and background. That means in the field of education, there are lots of material which are implemented to teach languages to learners. And these learners may be from all ages, small kids to adults. This process requires a deep understanding of language acquisition, cultural factors, and pedagogical principles. Okay, so this field is very familiar to us than NLP. Okay, so now you have learned some language theories, behaviorism, constructivism, and they are theories. But when in the field of education, textbooks and other teaching material are prepared, so they consider these theories, understanding of language acquisition, cultural factors, and pedagogical principle. All these things should be considered when preparing materials. Okay, so then there are many more things that we learn from theories, and these theories are applied especially in the, when we are preparing materials to teach languages to children. So that is the basic idea. I hope it is clear. You can read.
Okay, madam.
Okay. Key considerations in designing effective language teaching materials. Authenticity. Material should be authentic and reflect real world language use. This can include news articles, songs, films, and conversations. Okay, so then when we are preparing material to teach languages, they should be authentic and authentic material. The meaning of authentic means they should not be kind of artificial materials to students. So in fact, if I tell you, so when we were schooling, we also had textbooks. So when we were in primary grades, so though there were lessons, there were dialogues, there were stories, but they were not very authentic. For an example, there were some examples for processing the process of certain things. For an example, what we had was how to make a hamburger. Just imagine. So in our English textbook, there was a lesson how to make hamburger, but they were totally unknown to us. Nowadays, of course, there are lots of pastry shops, and you know what hamburger is. But when we were small, there were no pastry shops, and these foreign items were not heavily available. So it is not something authentic. And we teachers taught it, and we also learned it. But we feel we are not familiar with what we learned. Okay, so then, but the better way of preparing material is authentic. Instead of how to make a hamburger, if it was there, how to make a coconut sambal, that will be ideal actually. Okay, that is authenticity. Relevance. Material should be relevant to the learner's interest and experiences. Same example we can take here also. This can help to make learning more engaging and meaningful. Okay, I hope with the same example you can learn that also. Okay, read this.
Okay, madam.
And then progression. Material should be carefully graded and sequenced to ensure that learners are challenged but not overwhelmed. Okay, so then the way of arranging material, it should be in a kind of sequence, one after the other. There should be a kind of order, just like chronological order. The simple things first, complex things towards the end. Okay, so when we are arranging a textbook, actually, first lesson should be easier than the second. Second should be easier than the third. It should be going like that. Otherwise, we can't mix them. Complex lesson, simple, complex, medium. It's not like that. There should be a proper order. And then integration of skills. The integration means mixing actually. Material should integrate all four language skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Okay, so that is a must. So there was a time that these skills were taught separately. But now what is encouraged is that we have to integrate all these skills. For an example, just imagine you are teaching grammar. So when you are teaching grammar, you should use listening, speaking, and reading skill also. Writing, of course, it is there. Okay, I can remember when we were learning English grammar, So we had a separate book for English grammar, and we learned it well, and we scored good marks for grammar. But we don't know how to practically use what we learned. So that is the problem. Okay, so then we had only writing skill for grammar learning. But nowadays, for grammar learning, we can perform dramas, role plays, we can listen to lots of audio, and all these things should be integrated. Then it will be very interesting for students. And then cultural awareness. Material should be culturally sensitive and avoid stereotypes. And the other thing is, when we are preparing material for students to teach, and we have to prepare them with cultural awareness. And then cultural, the ethnic biases should not be there. So inside the class, there may be different students from different communities. Okay, text material should not damage any of these communities. Okay, so with that awareness, we have to prepare material. Okay, tell me whether you understood it or not. Take time. Understood. Hari, okay. Hari, next one.
Okay, madam.
Hari, okay. Communicative language teaching. So here we are talking about effective language teaching methods. Communicative language teaching. This approach emphasizes the importance of meaningful communication in language learning. Okay, so you may not feel this as a separate thing, because that may be the way that you are learning languages. But if I brief you about the earlier methods, the way people learn languages, it's not in a communicative way. Okay, for an example, uh, when students needs to talk in English, I will take English language as an example. The teacher will say one student, okay, you have to be the seller, you have to be the buyer. Just like that. Now have a conversation between seller and buyer. Or teacher will say, you are the doctor, you are the patient. And these things look very, very artificial. Okay, it's not meaningful. Students feel shy. Learners are encouraged to use language in real-world situations to develop their fluency and accuracy. But how teachers are instructed nowadays, rather than bringing very artificial situations to the classroom, teachers should try to make very natural environment. That is a must. Okay, that is a must. Is it clear to you? communicative language teaching. And the other thing, under communicative language teaching, language should be learned as a community, not alone. It's not learning a language alone. So you have to learn languages together. See the title, communicative language teaching. It's not individual learning. So teacher should teach languages in a way that all the students together learn it. Is that clear?
Yes, madam.
Task-based language learning, TBLT. This approach focuses on completing meaningful tasks using the target language. This can help learners to develop their skills in a practical and engaging way. Okay, from the title itself, you can understand task-based language teaching. Okay, that means the teacher is providing students a chance to use the language practically through task. Okay, maybe there are field visits, and then there are certain projects, group work, pair work. Rather than teacher explaining all the things, theoretical things, teacher is asking students to learn them by assigning task. So that is task-based teaching. Okay, we'll go further.
Okay, madam.
Hi, okay. A content-based language teaching. This approach integrates language learning with the teaching of other subjects. Okay, so even when we are teaching English, we have to use stuff from other subjects such as history, science, or geography, or there are many more other subjects also. Sometimes if you can remember, when you are getting textbooks, when you go to grade 6 upwards, so there were lessons from different fields, from science, history, geography. Using all these stuff, you are using, you are learning English language. Teachers are teaching English language. Okay, that is called content-based language teaching. You can use the term content-based language learning also. That means to teach languages, we have to use other subjects. This can help learners to see the relevance of language learning and develop their language skills in a meaningful context. Okay, when language is taught in this way, students feel language learning is meaningful. When we were learning languages, it is not meaningful actually. We don't know why we are learning English language. Okay, because we did not use it practically. Teachers did not tell us that this is how you have to use it practically. Okay, so then we were not having interesting lessons from other subjects. There were lots of issues. Okay, some of you are sleeping and attending lectures. I don't know whether you know your video is on or not. Because you have to think about those things also. I'm thinking about you and telling. I don't mind, but still, are you okay? And then next one is a technology enhanced language learning. So then this is available in different form. We say CALL, computer assisted language learning, TOL, technology assisted language learning. There may be different terms, but as a whole, this is actually using technology to enhance, to develop language learning. This approach uses technology to enhance language learning. This can include online resources, language learning apps, and virtual classrooms. Okay, so that is also very popular nowadays. Language should be learned through with technology actually, because human beings, people are so much useful to technology. Okay, so in teaching languages also, technology should be used, language lab and all these things. Okay, this one, sorry.
Finish, madam.
Sorry, okay. Yeah, individualized instruction. Language teachers should be able to adapt their instructions to meet the needs of individual learners. Okay, so inside a language classroom, there may be many students, nearly 50 students in Sri Lankan context. Okay, so teacher is teaching all the students together. But at the same time, teacher should be able to adapt their instructions to meet the needs of individual learner. It doesn't mean that teacher should teach students separately. Teacher should teach all together, but her way of teaching should be able to adapt or able to meet the needs of individual learners. This can involve providing additional support, challenge, or differentiation. Teacher should know all the students are not at the same level, so there are differences in their knowledge. Okay, so while some students take something very easily, it may be something very tough for other students. So a teacher should be giving some additional support to the required student. By carefully designing effective materials and methods, language teachers can create engaging and effective learning experiences for their students. Okay, everything is on the hands of the teacher actually. If teacher is understanding, creative, teacher can do marvelous in the class. This will help learners to develop their language skills and become confident and proficient communicators. Okay, if follow these instructions, if teachers do individualized instruction, we can see very confident and proficient communicators. Okay, so that is the field of education. Okay, language is practically used in the field of education. Okay, that's what you have to understand. Okay, so in the field of education, language is practically used. And earlier we discussed about natural language processing, that is in the field of computer. Hari. Okay, now we are moving to legal linguistics. Okay, just read.
Okay, madam.
Yes. Legal linguistics, the intersection of language and law. Intersection of language and law. Okay, so legal linguistics, so that is a separate one actually. Legal linguistics is a specialized field that examines the relationship between language and the legal system. Okay? It involves analyzing language in legal contexts such as contracts, status, court transcript, and witness statements. Okay, so these are related to the field of law. So then, legal context such as contracts. Okay, so then sometimes in the field of law, the lawyers, the relevant officers, they have to study contracts. Okay, so then status, court transcript, and witness statement, sakshi in singular we call. Legal linguistics use their expertise to interpret and understand the meaning of legal text and to address legal disputes. Okay, so then in the field of law, there should be people who study these legal documents. Studying legal documents means studying languages. So even though we are lecturers, even though you learn English as students, even though you will be graduates, sometimes these legal documents cannot be understood by us. Not sometimes, most probably. Just keep legal documents aside. Just think about insurance policy notes. We will sign at the end, but we cannot understand what it indicates. That's very, very complicated. Okay, so in the field of legal legal system, actually languages are playing a major role.
Okay, madam.
Okay. Key areas of focus in legal linguistics. Okay, so there are certain key areas of legal linguistics. Contract interpretation, analyzing the language used in contracts to determine the parties' intentions and obligations. Okay, so when there is a problem, when one party is claiming something, when the other party is opposing it, so lawyers, they have to study in detail the contracts. Okay, so then how do we call these things? Something like, I can't remember. Okay, contracts. So then they even they have to pay their attention to each and every word. Okay, so contract interpretation. For contract interpretation is something directly related to language, because the document is a language stuff. Then statutory interpretations, interpreting the meaning of law and regulations. Okay, so the law is coming to people as a linguistic document. Can you understand what I am telling? So just imagine Constitution of Sri Lanka. So it is highly accepted, and that is what is practiced in Sri Lanka. Andukrama Vyavastava. Okay, so that is a document. That is a linguistic document. Everything is written in using language. And then witness statement analysis, examining the language used in witness statements to assess credibility and identify potential biases. Okay, so witness statements, Sakshi, Prakasha. Okay, so those things are deeply studied in the field of law. Witness statement is a linguistic document. Okay, so from these examples, you can see in the field of law, language plays a major role.
Okay, madam.
Yes. Forensic linguistics, analyzing language in legal investigations such as authorship attribution and fraud detection. Okay, you know what forensic linguistic, so that is related to murder cases and all these things, forensic. And they are also in analyzing language in legal investigation. Analyzing language is done. Okay, so in the field of forensic, related to law, field of law, there is an area called forensic linguistics. Sometimes the documents are checked for the ownership and all those things are there. And then legal discourse analysis, studying the language used in legal settings such as courtrooms and legislative bodies. Okay, so then in this legal discourse is a separate one. So language which is specially used in legal document, legal discourse. And you also might have seen titles, deeds, land deeds, idang oppu. So there the language is different. That's not the language that we normally used. It's a legal discourse. That's a specific language related to the field of legal system. Is that clear to you? If you, I was continuously explaining. If you have a doubt, you can ask. And if you have opinions, you can present.
Clear, madam.
Okay. Read this also.
Okay, madam.
Methods used in legal linguistics. Corpus analysis. Analyzing large bodies of legal text to identify patterns and trends. Okay, so corpus analysis, it's a separate area. Our purpose is not to study that. Under corpus analysis, a large body of legal text are analyzed to identify patterns and trends. You know, there are huge books related to legal system, so they are analyzed to identify patterns and trends. I know some lawyers, they burn midnight oil. That means they awake till late night searching for documents and some evidence, all those things. So when they are searching for evidence, that is something they do with the languages. And then discourse analysis, examining the ways in which language is used to construct meaning and power relationship in legal context. Okay, discourse analysis. Examining, they investigate the ways in which language is used to construct meaning and power relationship in legal context. Okay, so then there are contracts, agreements given by the employee to the employer, like that. Then pragmatics, studying how language is used in context to convey meaning. Studying how language is used in context to convey meaning. Okay, so then the meaning of language differs according to different context. Okay, so meaning of particular word may differ according to the context. The context means different situations. So for an example, I am telling you an example. So the words which we used when we are happy may convey different meaning, but when we are using the same words when we are sad, it may convey another meaning. Okay, so that pragmatics, anyhow, it is we have learned it in detail early. Okay, so language in context. Then stylistics, Analyzing the stylistic features of legal language such as vocabulary, grammar, and sentence structure. Okay, in the field of legal system, the vocabulary, grammar, and sentence structure, that is very, very specific. That is not the vocabulary, grammar, and sentence structure that we normally see every day. It is something very, very specific.
Okay, madam.
Okay. Applications of legal linguistics, a dispute resolution, resolving legal disputes by clarifying the meaning of ambiguous language in contracts or status. Okay, so sometimes there may be problems with reference to certain ambiguous meaning in contracts, status. Okay, so in such situation, certain documents should be studied. Okay, it may be a marriage certificate, or it may be some other legal documents, just like transferring property somebody to somebody else. Okay, so then it may be a bond. Okay, whatever it is, these documents are thoroughly studied, and as a result, the problem, the dispute can be resolved. Okay, so that means studying this document, it is something related to the field of linguistics. Then expert witness testimony, providing expert testimony on linguistic issues in legal proceeding. Okay, witness testimony. So then witness is studied by expert. Okay, so that is also once again related to languages. And then legal education, teaching law students about the importance of language and communication in the legal profession. So the students who are following legal subjects, law, LLB, they have separate subject called language and communication in the legal profession. The title of the subject may be different, but purpose of the subject is to teach the students following law the language and communication in legal profession. It's very important. And then legal reform, improving the clarity and accessibility of legal text. So sometimes certain things are reformed, sansodhane karanama, to improve the clarity and accessibility of legal text. That is the purpose. So they are also, language plays a major role. Is it clear?
Yes, madam.
Oh.
Okay, madam.
Okay. Uh, in conclusion, legal linguistic is a valuable tool for understanding and addressing legal issues. Okay? So legal linguistic is something that is really important in the field of legal system because uh, it helps to understand and address legal issues. By analyzing the language used in legal context, legal linguistics can help to ensure that laws are interpreted fairly and consistently. Okay, so that is done thanks to languages. Okay, so just simply think how languages are important in the field of legal system. So then you will understand it very easily. Orally it is important, written form of language is important. Okay. So then the reading skill is important, all these. Now we'll go to the next one, cultural studies.
Okay, madam.
Okay. Cultural studies, it's a multidisciplinary field. Okay. A cultural study is a broad academic discipline that examines the relationship between culture, power, and identity. It draws on insight from sociology, anthropology, history, literature, philosophy, and other fields to understand how culture is produced, circulated, and consumed. A culture is a broad area because inside culture there are many more areas just like sociology, anthropology, history, literature, and many more. So it's a multidisciplinary field. Okay, I'm sorry. Power got disconnected now. So I'm back once again. I don't know, all of a sudden power went off and but it came soon. Okay, so this is what we were doing. Okay, yeah, just continue reading.
Okay.
Okay. Key themes and concept in cultural studies. Culture. Culture is broadly defined as the shared belief, values, customs, and practices in a group of people. Okay, you know what culture is? Culture is broadly defined as the shared belief, values, customs, and practices of a group of people. So, in particular culture, all the people will believe the same values, customs, and practices. It includes material culture, object and artifacts, and symbolic culture, just like ideas, belief, and values. All these things are there. Then, when it comes to power, cultural studies is concerned with how power is distributed and exercised within society. This includes the power of dominant group to shape cultural norms and values, as well as the resistance of marginalized group. A power. A culture is something, power is something else. Under power, we check whether some group of people are dominating, even within the same culture, and whether they are a marginalized group. Okay, all these things are related to power. Okay, check.
Okay.
Yes, identity. Cultural studies examine how individual and group construct and perform their identities. This includes the role of culture in shaping gender, race, ethnicity, class, and other aspects of identity. Okay, that is cultural identity. Then representation, it means cultural studies analyzes how culture is represented in various forms such as media, art, and literature. Okay, that is what we have to, that is how we have to relate studies analyze how culture is represented in various forms such as media. Media is directly with language, art related to language, and literature. This includes examining the power dynamics involved in representation and the ways in which certain groups are marginalized or excluded. Okay, so then we get to know about different culture for its arts, media, and literature. Arts, media, and literature, they are directly related to language.
Okay, ma'am.
Globalization. Cultural studies explores the impact of globalization on culture, including the spread of cultural products, the homogenization of cultures, and the emergence of hybrid culture. Homogenization means the same cultures, and emergence of hybrid cultures. Globalization, because of globalization, all the cultures, they have mixed. Okay, so up to now we just discussed culture in general, but here you can see areas of focus in cultural studies.
Okay, madam.
Okay. Areas of focus in cultural studies. Media studies. Analyzing the role of media in shaping culture and identity. Gender studies, examining the construction of gender and the ways in which gender inequality is perpetuated. Then post-colonial studies, analyzing the impact of colonialism on cultures and social societies. Okay, all these things are there in the inside cultural studies, media studies. So, if you want to study the culture, particular culture, you can pay your attention to the media of that particular culture. And then the gender studies, how gender is treated in that particular culture. Then post-colonial studies, the impact of post-colonialism on particular culture. Then queer studies, that means LGBTQ people, lesbian, gay, then like that there are different studies coming to the field of linguistic actually. LGBTQ is very famous. Have you heard of this?
Yes, ma'am.
Transgender. Oh, yeah. So all the how that particular culture is treating these things. How does a particular culture treat lesbians, gay, then bisexual, then transgender, and the queer? There are people totally different. How do they teach these treat these people? And that can be studies. Race and ethnicity studies, analyzing the construction of race and ethnicity and the ways in which racial inequality is maintained. Okay, so by getting certain ideas about all these things, we can get a very good idea about particular culture.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Cultural studies is a diverse and interdisciplinary field that offers valuable insight into the complexities of human culture. That was there at the beginning also. By examining the relationship between culture, power, and identity, cultural studies help us to understand the world around us and to challenge dominant narratives. In short, applications of linguistic bridge the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical applications, making significant impact on various aspects of society. Okay, so if you are learning a particular language, means you are learning a particular culture. Language and culture, they are inseparable, you know. Sinhalese language means Sinhalese culture. Tamil language means maybe the culture of Tamil people in Sri Lanka, that is the language of Muslims also. Okay, so the best way to study a culture is studying the language of that culture. Okay. Is it clear? We discussed lots of things about culture, but at last what you need to understand is studying a particular language means you are studying a particular culture. And we'll come to the next one.
Okay, madam.
Okay. Application of linguistic in business communication. Linguistic, the scientific study of language, has numerous applications in the field of business communication. Okay, so you might have heard the term business communication is a subject in most of the educational institute. So under business communication, it is taught how to deal in the world of business. By understanding the nuances of language, businesses can improve their communication strategies and achieve better outcomes. Okay, language plays a major role in the field of business. If the proper language is used uh, in the field of business, better outcomes can be achieved. And sometimes people lose profits because of the incorrect use of language. Okay, see. Okay, did you finish reading?
Yes, ma'am.
Key applications of linguistic in business communication. Effective communication. Okay, effective communication is highly needed in the field of business. Okay, clarity and conciseness. Clarity. Linguistics helps identify and eliminate ambiguity and wordiness in business communication. So clarity is something very precious in the field of business. So linguistic helps to maintain that clarity. Okay, clarity can be maintained using linguistic. Then audience analysis, understanding the target audience language preference and knowledge level allow for tailored communication. Okay, sometimes it's necessary to understand the language preference of the target community. Okay, so then sometimes the business people, they have to use that language. Okay, so for that also, the linguistic is important in the field of business communication. Understanding the target audience language preferences. Okay, then cultural sensitivity. Linguistics helps businesses navigate cultural differences and avoid misunderstanding in cross-cultural communication. So the business people, they have to understand the cultural sensitivity. So that is important when they are doing promotions and when they are going for new products. And this cultural sensitivity should be considered. Even advertisements, and there are some advertisements which are culturally rejected. Then brand building.
Okay, ma'am.
Sorry, okay. Brand building, linguistic branding, creating a strong and memorable brand identity through the use of language. So that is very clear, I suppose. And certain brands are in the deep memory of people, the business. Okay, so then some company logo, motto, they are really famous among people, even in Sri Lanka. Okay, so even in mother tongue, even in Sinhala Tamil, you may remember certain brands. So there, the linguistic plays a major role in branding, creating a strong and memorable brand identity through the use of language. And then slogans and taglines, developing effective slogans and taglines that resonate with the target audience. Okay, product naming, choosing appropriate names for products or services that convey the desired message. Okay, so from these things you can easily understand the role played by linguistic in the field of business. Okay, linguistic branding. So what are they? Can you remember some of them? Yes, linguistic branding. Can't you find examples from Sri Lanka?
Dialogue, ma'am.
Yeah, dialogue. Yes, dialogue. Yeah, dialogue. Yeah, that is also something related to linguistic. Then your partner in progress.
Yes. Mobitel.
Sorry?
Mobitel, ma'am. Mobitel.
Mobitel. Yes. Even in mother tongue, you may remember, I will use some singular term, Jatiye Mahapahantal. So that is linguistic, the wordings. So they are very famous. And the slogans, yes, I told you, product naming, yeah, as you told, dialogue, tell, yeah, there are different things. The product names, that's a linguistic presentation. Okay. Yes, did you finish reading?
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Marketing and advertising, persuasive language, using linguistic techniques to persuade consumers to buy products or services. Okay, so it is important. Okay, so then when we are doing marketing, the persuasive language should be used. So that is how normally business people do. So when we see the advertisements, we feel buying the items. Advertising slogans, analyzing the effectiveness of advertising slogans and creating new ones. Then consumer behavior, understanding how language affects consumer behavior and decision making. Okay, so then when we use persuasive language and emotional language, we can talk to the heart of the customer. Okay, that is one. Customer service. Customer service. Effective communication. Training customer service representatives to use clear and concise language. Okay, so then especially in the area of customer service in business, effective communication is highly important. Okay, so their language plays a major role. Customer handling is a very tough area. If you use improper language, inappropriate language, there will be a problem. Then complaint handling. Analyzing customer complaints to identify common issues and improve communication. Okay, so the customers are often with complaints. So we have to handle them with care, with intelligence. So language plays a major role there. Okay, so especially in the field of hotel and tourism. So always complaints are coming. So the believing the belief that customer is the king, the complaint should be handled very nicely. And then customer satisfaction, measuring customer satisfaction through surveys and feedback analysis, that is also needed in the field of business. And they are getting customer feedback, the satisfaction. So there the language plays a major role. Okay, negotiation, persuasive language, using language to negotiate effectively and achieve desired outcomes. You know the meaning of negotiation. Then conflict resolution we discussed, cross-cultural negotiation, understanding cultural differences in negotiation style. So underneath all these areas, language plays a major role. And then human resources, job description, writing clear and concise job description. So language plays a major role. In appointment letters, the management has to write properly the job description. And performance reviews are done in the field of business. And then employee communication. So in all these areas, language plays a major role. So by applying linguistic principles, businesses can enhance their communication effectiveness, build stronger relationships with customers and stakeholders, and achieve their goals. Okay, so applying linguistic principles, business can achieve their target. Okay, that is the end. So let me show you what we started today. Where? Okay, here. So our title was application of linguistics. Under that we discussed these 5 areas. So these are the most common areas nowadays where linguistics plays a major role. Natural language processing, language in education, legal linguistics, cultural studies, and business communication. In addition to this, there are other areas, but we selected only these 5 areas. Okay, so this is a vast area, but when you get your exam paper, sometimes essay type of question may appear from this. Okay, so then tomorrow also we are having one session, 2-hour session. So what I am going to do is I am doing a revision on all the things we did. Okay, so if possible, tomorrow's session will be very important. Okay, sometimes you might have forgotten what you did actually, that what you studied. Even as the lecturer, I may be distracted from the lessons which I did with you. So you and I, we all can be familiar with what we were doing for these 12 days. Eh? Is it 12? Yes, that's what I can remember. These 12 days. Okay, because after that you will be having a paper, then your knowledge will be refreshed. Yes, 12 days actually. Okay, so with this, shall we wind up the session, and tomorrow we'll be meeting for the last time for this subject. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, then have a nice time. Good night. Tomorrow we'll do a very useful session because we are covering the whole stuff. Okay, see you tomorrow.
Okay, ma'am. Good night.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Good night, madam.
Okay, good night.